We're about 8 days away from the launch of MLB The Show 18, and we've just now got the long-awaited franchise news coming to the game this year. Now, this mode gives you the ability to manage your team as much as you desire, including setting lineups, rotations, drafting future talent, managing your staff, and other GM tasks. So in this video, we're going to go over 8 improvements to the MLB The Show 18 franchise mode. Coming in at number 8, front office phases. So this one is big. As a GM of an MLB team, you need to focus on making the right decisions at the right time. This year, San Diego Studios has added into franchise mode 19 unique phases that help you understand the important moments that general managers experience in a typical MLB season. These phases will help you guide your franchise to success by helping you with things like understanding key moments throughout the year, to help you understand what the next upcoming phases and moments are in the year, some of the important tasks that are relevant to that time of the year, so you won't find yourself unsure of what you need to do next as a general manager. As you're progressing through your franchise, you'll also get results from your last game and who played well, who's your next opponent, the starting pitchers and how they're performing this year, how your team stacks up at each position against other teams, and which of your star players are going to be free agents in the offseason. But with this addition, the hope is that there's a seamless connection through all the things you're supposed to do within your franchise, all within the home screen view. Coming in at number 7, an overhauled UI design. And this was absolutely must needed. This year's design's much more freshened with the implementation of front office phases. Really, this is about presenting the right information to you in a dynamic way, because in franchise mode, you spend so much time in the menus managing and organizing your team. With these improvements, there's also new screens like the home screen, league, and stats, the scouting screen, the trade block and trade talk screen, reviewed sponsorships, budget, all-star voting, and much more. Coming in at number 6, improved generated minor leaguers and players from the first year player draft. This has been one that I've been calling out for quite a while. I've had issues with what the players have looked like. Some of the players they've shown looked really cool. They looked believable, like there could be actual players in the MLB, so I'm excited to see what type of players that will get attached to within our franchise. Coming in at number 5, retro mode is now playable in franchise mode. So I asked for this twice in both retro mode videos, once from last year, once for this year, and I hope that they would just give the ability for us to play retro mode as a playable game type. I thought this would be a fun way for casual players to just, kind of play franchise mode, but not it be so hardcore. And RBI Baseball is also doing this, so this is now in. So retro mode is about a 30-minute game, really new to this year in franchise. I think all of you know this, but the features are simplified, the controls, the presentation is retro, and it's really to give a nostalgic feel. So hopefully it can really grab those casual players to get them to fall in love with franchise mode like many of us. Coming in at number 4, a streamlined off-season contract management system. Off-season has been one of the most challenging things to go through in a franchise. It's incredibly fun and rewarding because you get to make a lot of changes to your team in a short amount of time. It gives you the opportunity to kind of rebuild and pull the trigger and see how people progress and finally sign some new players to the team and get to promote them. This is one of my favorite times of every season. I absolutely love it. So instead of, being dumped into really just one player pool that you have to manage and then simulate amongst the calendar, you'll go through a phased process in the off season, very much like you do in Madden. In Madden, the off season, you go through a bunch of stages and it presents to you what you need to do at that moment in time. So here in this off season with this contract management system, first you'll start with exclusive free agents, then you'll jump to top off season transactions, you review and hire staff, look at free agency multiple times, you'll set your 40-man roster right before the Rule 5 draft, you go through arbitration, tender contracts to players that are under your team control, actually go through with the Rule 5 draft and winter meetings, and and then ultimately renew your contracts just before spring training. Coming in at number 3, rewritten retirement logic. So this is a big one for many of you. I think you've heard me say this before, and also Mills Gaming TV over at Twitch has said this. There's actually one moment where Jose Altuve, after the first year, retired due to a poor market, and that is absolutely absurd. So the team has talked about how they've improved this and really tried to fix age players and prospects from retiring too soon. They've shifted the logic away from age and solely onto ability. So you might have a player that's in his 40s, maybe even his 50s, but if his ability is still there and it stacks up within the league, he's still going to be there. But players with F potential, D potential that are super low in ability, you know, they're going to leave because of a poor market. Now, they showed 2 examples on stream that I thought was really cool. Like, these are the types of storylines that I love in franchise mode. The first one was Hunter Stoltz. He retired in MLB The Show 17, but when the team took that save file and brought it over to 18, he actually was signed here in the AAA. But the even better example was Daryl Kohler, legend in his name. He retired in MLB The Show 17, but when they took that save file into 18 and they watched his career progress, he went on to be the starting closer for the Detroit Tigers and became an all-star. Like, that is so cool. He was a B potential 66 overall guy that retired. Like, that is just music to my ears. I love those storylines. It's cool to see that come to life here in MLB The Show 18. Coming in at number 2, a new competitive balance round. So with the MLB collective bargaining agreement, there's now a formula which calculates like the 10 lowest markets in the MLB, and then there is a supplemental draft after each round that flips with a compensatory round. And so, you know, whoever those 10 teams are, they'll actually get another pick. And lastly, coming in at number 1, new auto balancing and lineup logics. So this is a big one. We know we've seen a lot of challenges with the AI having problems with their lineup, you know, having people in wrong position, you know, having people get injured and then not get back to play, and the lineups never being changed, or the order just being completely wonky and weird. And so there's been a lot of improvement into that. Players can now win starting positions that the AI will set. So for example, there might be a relief pitcher or a backup second baseman who just through their performance start to overperform the starter, and then the AI will slot them in as starters. And so they won't just look at overall, they actually look at how they're performing, you know, within this current year of the franchise. So that makes this thing so much more immersive, so much more, you know, detailed. You know, I can't wait to see if there's a player with higher overall that's on the bench and he's cold, and you've got a younger prospect that has now stolen a starting spot just because of how he's competing. All right, so what do you guys think about the improvements to franchise mode? I like a lot of the improvements. To me, it's good to see the UI changes, the streamlined changes, because that just makes franchise more fun and more accessible for all players, because really we want as many players as possible to play franchise mode so this thing continues to grow and grow. All right, well, let me know down in the comments, and until the next one, we'll see ya. Peace.